Goeiemorgen, good morning, en môre vir jou ook. So,
Môre?
yeah, guys and girls, it's not often that the wife says it's time for me to say a lot. So,
I didn't say that.
oh, you didn't say that. Okay, always playing innocent here. All right, we've decided to talk a bit about the differences between New Zealand and South Africa. And I think there's a lot of differences, and I think a lot of people has already spoken a lot about this. But today, I think I want to concentrate more on out of a female point of view.
Yes, I think
There's a reason why you guys see the world totally different than us males.
because you see it wrong.
You see, I'm a figures person and she sees pictures. There's a big difference. I just want to say good morning out of Welcome Bay here in Tauranga. I hope I pronounced that right this morning. Lovely 13 degrees, so it's not a bad morning to start off with. Presumably we're getting a bit of rain. It has rained a bit through the night, about 1.3 millimeters or something like that. Presumably today and tomorrow it's going to be quite a lot of rain. So that's a weather forecast for this morning. So
Still dark outside.
still dark outside, to be quite frank on that. Let's see. Fuel.
Okay,
Petrol.
so
Petrol. What was your thoughts the
it's
first
more
time?
expensive in New Zealand than it is in South Africa.
It is, but what was your thoughts the first time you had to fill up your own car?
Yes, when we got here, I was a little scared of putting fuel in my own car. I think it's just because it's very much different than what we used to. You don't just pull up and someone does it for you. So in the beginning, I always say to him, I'll call you in my car, it needs fuel, and then we'll meet up at the petrol station and then you can just help me. But it's actually not that difficult. Now the only thing I have to worry about is not to put petrol in, but diesel. So as long as I can remember that, then I'm fine. But it's not difficult at all. I think the most difficult part of that is just to figure out how the payment options work.
Oh, yeah.
That used to get him down a lot. But as soon as I've picked one petrol station or a brand, and they all work the same. So I just pull up at that specific petrol station, and that's where I fuel my car. So I know how the payment system works and everything. So I think it's not difficult.
Some of the petrol stations in New Zealand is unmanned. So
Most
you drive,
of them are.
yeah, most of them are. Yeah, you drive up there, and this little petrol thing standing there, and they've got this little booth. And somewhere along the line, if you're new, you've got to figure out how to pay this thing and how to pay for the correct pump, because you've got to put in which pump number you are. And that's something that I struggled with in the beginning. I don't know where to see the pump number. And sometimes if you stop at the pump, that specific little pay point is broken. You've got to go to the next one and pay there, which makes it a bit confusing, except especially if you come from a country where you pull up and says, "Yes, can I wash your window?" So it doesn't happen here.
Yes, but you know, the other thing
yourself.
is, if you don't know how to do it, just ask. There's always other people fueling their
But
cars.
you know,
so
we
just
as men, we don't ask
I
stuff
know.
like that. So
Yeah.
guys, if you got questions this morning, feel free to pop it through. We'll try to have a few questions as well. So
Yes. And then the next thing we wanted to talk about was how shopping works in New Zealand. We've been here 2.5 years now, so I think we're quite used to how it works, and you can't always remember exactly how you did it in South Africa. The first time that I went grocery shopping, as you all know by now, we've got a Pack and Save, Countdown, and New World for grocery shopping, and Pack and Save is the least expensive, so we tend to end up at Pack and Save. You get a little bit more.
I mean that's your
Groceries for your
department.
money,
really,
but you can buy
she
whatever.
really excels in that. If I watch the
So
landscape.
when we stopped at Pack and Save, and the shop inside looks a little bit like Macro. It's like
Yeah, pretty much industrial type of thing.
Yeah,
They
it's
don't really,
not a nice shop.
they don't try.
But you get used to that as well. So now it's just the way that it is. The New Worlds and the Countdowns are more a little bit like a Pick and Pay or a Chick. It's more like a grocery shopping in South Africa. But you get used to it so quick. And yes, you can pay for yourself if you've got less than 15 items. You can pay, go to the self-payment option, which is very easy. You just scan your own stuff, put it on the scale, put it in your bags and pay with your card, or you can pay cash if you want to, and you just move along. Otherwise, you can also just pay at the
you can go to the normal till.
Yes.
And normally I haven't really found anybody that's not extremely friendly there.
Yes.
They want to know how you are. They want to know how your cat is, how your dog is.
Yeah, they make conversation with you.
They really
it doesn't
talk
slow
to
them
you.
down.
No, it doesn't slow them down, but it's actually a nice experience. You go there and you can tell them 5 minutes of your story. They tell you 5 minutes of their story. We've met, when we just came in here, we met an Indian girl at the till, and let's call it the pay point. At the pay point, and she actually explained to us where we can buy Indian spices. So that was.
Yeah, and she explained a little bit of
their
what
culture
they
and how they
and,
eat,
yes,
vegetarians, and they eat curry every day.
And then you get to know things, and then you pick that specific pay point every time that you go to the shop. So, and in the malls, as everyone knows by now, the malls aren't the same caliber as it is in South Africa, but it's good. We like it now. I didn't like malls anyway in South Africa. I'm not a big city girl, so I prefer a shopping center like we've got here. Which they call
to the South Africans out there, if you go to a end shop like a butchery, you go to the butchery. The butchery is not in the mall. Pack and Save is not in the mall. They start building them now in the malls. Some of the countdowns are in the malls. But if you go to an area, the only shop on that whole parking lot is, for example, a countdown or Pack and Save or the butchery with a few other shops. It's very much like the older, smaller shopping centers you get in South Africa. I know the bigger towns, even Tauranga, we've got two shopping or malls, as they call it. I still can't see myself going into those malls.
It's more for when you want to go clothes shopping and
have a bite to eat.
Yeah. So, but yes, the shopping centers are they've got everything that you need, so you don't have to worry about it. And it's nice just to go in there. They've got the cinemas is in there. Although most of the cinemas are outside of the mall, so every little suburb has got their own cinema.
And the interesting thing about the cinemas, and let's call it the gyms as well here, you don't get a franchise cinema that's throughout the whole country or franchise gym like what's at Virgin's and around what Virgin Active, sorry. You get every area. If I want to have my own gym, I'll make it Jan's Gym, and the next town hasn't got a Jan's Gym, it's got a different name gym. So it's a bit confusing. So you can't take your one membership and I can't go to the next little town and go and do my gymming there because it belongs to somebody else. It's just different. They do the stuff here. So
yeah. What else? The shopping centers are very clean. Not so noisy as we used to. It's actually a good experience to go in there. The bathrooms are very clean. And it's kept like that the whole time. Yeah, I said before, they've got family rooms in the malls where the mums or the dads or the grannies or whatever can go and sit with the kids while the mom is shopping. You can breastfeed there. There's a microwave. You can heat up your food and sit and eat it there. There's like a little lounge area in there. There's a playpen there for the kids. Changing stations for the babies. Very, very nice. And it's very safe. So you have to push a little button if you want to go out. So it's not, it's high enough not for the kids to reach. It's very safe. And I think it's a very nice. I wanted to film it for you one day, but I just couldn't without everybody watching me, so I just left it. It must look quite weird to go to the toilet to film. Yes, I don't even have kids and I'm in the family room, yeah. Okay, then we can talk a little bit about the coffee shops. When we arrived in New Zealand, I was quite disappointed in the coffee shops because we used to this very smart, very grand, very, coffee shops. Yeah, I think there's a coffee shop on every single corner, and they all look exactly the same. It's just tables and chairs, nothing fancy, and they've got display windows with everything that they have to offer. So you pick from the display window what you want to eat, and you go and sit down. You pay at the counter, you get a little number or anything, and then you go sit down and they bring it to you. Some coffee shops have a separate menu, so you can pick from the display window or you can order from the menu. But one thing that I can say, now that we're used to it, what it looks like, you do get some coffee shops that's very, very nice, especially at the nurseries, and so the coffee shops are very nice. All beautiful, if I can say that. They're all nice, but those are little...
It's very much self-service at the end of the day. You go up there, you order your coffee at the pay point, you pay for it there. There's no bill afterwards, no...
Yes, no tipping, nothing.
And if I go there, let's say we two go there and we've got friends as well. We go, we order, we pay what we want. They go up, they order, and they pay for what they want. So it's no, let's do half the bill or stuff like that. You pay what you want and you get out and they bring your food once it's been prepared for you.
At some of the bigger restaurants, you get a waiter that will come to your table.
Oh, that's a restaurant, but not really the coffee shops.
No, not really the coffee shops. What the restaurants are like, very good. The food in New Zealand, I think for me, is better than we've got in South Africa. Every single restaurant that we went to, I've never eaten anywhere that I can say I was disappointed in the food. The portions are huge and the food is so well presented. It looks very appealing when you get your food at every single place. Even if it's just a small little coffee shop on a corner, the food are presented beautifully and it tastes really good. They tend to use very fresh ingredients. So the food are very good. Yeah,
I've never been to a coffee shop where I've ordered off the menu and thought, geez, I didn't get enough food.
No, even if it looks little, it's very substantial. Yes, no. The food is very good, and the restaurants are very good.
And if they bring you bacon, it's about 4 strands of bacon.
Yeah, we used to order breakfast, especially breakfast, because it seems little expensive. If you pay $22 for a breakfast, it seems really expensive. Yeah. But what you get for that $22, we ended up just saying to each other, when we go for breakfast, we must just share, because it's
I would
just
never share, by the way.
No, we don't. But now we tend to order something that's not so substantial.
We try to order smaller.
You get places that's not so expensive. If you go to the small little bakeries, you can also have breakfast with them, and then it's not that expensive. I think the one that we always go to with our friends is, I think you pay about $8 or $9 for the breakfast, which is good. It's toast and bacon and eggs and tomato, and you can add baked beans if you want to. So that's not expensive. But if you go to a nice restaurant for breakfast, it is a little more expensive.
Is it Joanne de Beer just saying that it works well, and after COVID-19 more places have become a full service? I haven't seen that really yet. They're very much, the coffee shops are still, you go up to the counter. I think that's purely to preserve money, or to save money for the owners. So, because they do pay a very good wage here, so those guys working behind the counter is getting good money at the end of the day. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Another thing that I think I spoke about it a few weeks ago as well is the food delivery in New Zealand. You can order, as you do from Pick n Pay and stuff, you can order from Countdown and they deliver it to your door.
You can always also go and pick it up, then they store it for you. Yes,
Pack and Save doesn't deliver, but you can order online and they've got storage units, and you can just pick a time when you want to pick it up, and they'll have it in your storage unit for you and you can pick it up. But we get like, what's that place? Fresh
Choice.
Hello Fresh.
Hello Fresh.
My Food Bag. I'm sure you should get something like that in South Africa as well. I'm not too sure. But then you get your whole week's food on a Sunday or a Monday, whatever you prefer. And you've got the whole week's food. You don't have to go to the shops. We did that during the COVID lockdown because it was just so easy. We didn't have to go shopping at all, only just for maybe bread and milk and whatever. But you get your whole week's food and it's very good quality, very fresh. And it gives you a little you don't have to think of what you're going to do for dinner tonight. You just do whatever's on the menu. You get the recipe as well and all the ingredients that you need, and it makes you it learns you to cook a little bit different than you used to.
You've got to think out of the box.
Yes,
it really comes in a box.
Nice,
So.
very nice, a little bit different. So you get that as well. Yeah. It's not expensive. Some of the options are, but if you just go with the normal options, it's really not expensive. And it's easy, and yeah, especially if you're a working mom and don't have that much time on your hands, then it's really comfortable.
I could say that that option didn't cost us more than what we normally would have spent on food for that week. So it just didn't include stuff like the milk and so on. But, but it still was nice. I can't say any of those recipes that you made that were bad, but I especially like that leek one.
Yes, now it teaches you a whole different
probably have a little barbecue the weekend with those leek stuff. Why not? It's a good idea. Tell them about the pies.
You can do that. Geez. I'm not into pies.
In South Africa, if you go to the pie shop, you get the pie and you get the reni. If they don't give you a reni, you go and buy a reni. Total different story here. Pie costs about $5, $6, sometimes even $7, but it's substantial. It's big, meaty pies. Very much the same type of stuff that you could buy from some of the farm stalls. If I think back in South Africa,
yeah, Peregrine and
those guys that have farm stalls that have substantial pies. I mean, those pies at that time cost about 30-40 rand, if I remember right. Very much the same type of pie, but normally all the pies in New Zealand look substantial pies. I've eaten about 2 pies from dodgy places, and I mean, except now that I'm on diet, I've eaten a heck of a lot of pies in New Zealand. I promise you, pie was...
What he says and what he does is two different things.
A pie was one of my main things to eat during the day, and really, I found very little places that was making bad pies. Some of the pies were just not as great as the rest. Somebody like Patrick Pies.
Some of the places with takeaway places, they look a little bit dodgy from the outside, but the food is still good. Still very good. It's clean.
I haven't found really one that. I think there's one or two that we have walked out in the past, and that little town that we'll be in the other day.
Some of them. I mean, it's up to you. You look at it, see what it looks like, and decide if you want to buy it.
It had a carpet floor, and that didn't work for me. I can't believe you put carpets and we serve food. But that's the only thing. I mean, otherwise, probably would have been lovely food there. I don't know.
Okay, driving in New Zealand.
Okay. She had her first accident a while ago, just after we arrived. I think I should put it out there. I haven't had one yet.
I've never had an accident in my whole life, and then it happened to me in New Zealand.
Because driving is a little bit different here.
It was at a roundabout.
Yeah. Or circle, as you guys call it in South Africa.
Yes, it's just a confusing one. There's a traffic light in the middle of the roundabout, which I didn't even know was there, and I skipped it. It was a red light.
Yep. If it's red, you stop. It's green, you go. Easy.
Luckily, the guy that drove into me drove one of these Dodge truck things, so he's got nothing even, he didn't even have a scrape on.
Luckily, most of the accidents down in New Zealand where it happens is about 30 or 40 kilometers an hour.
So now I'm just a little more attentive when it comes to roundabouts.
But I can say she grabs her car and she goes everywhere, which in South Africa wasn't the fact. In South Africa, I planned my day around her. Where she wanted to go, I used to take her. And it's just, I love the freedom that the driving here gives you. So
I think it's just because you don't have to rush in everywhere. You can drive your 80 or at the most 100, and no one's chasing you and driving on your tail the whole time. So you don't feel anxious. And yes, you don't have to worry. You can drive your 80. I just drive 80, and whoever wants to pass must just pass.
And while you're driving it, and cars pile up behind you if you're driving 80 and 100. So at a certain point, you get a lot of double ways, and you just go left, and all the cars pass, and they'll all put the poop poop to say thank you that you moved out of the way. Or if you're on a single lane and there's a way, you just stop next to the road. All the cars pass, you get back on the road. I do it a lot of times. I'll be driving with a caravan as well, just to not have all the traffic behind me. So I just stop next to the road for a few seconds. Everybody passes me, and then I get back on the road and I go. Everybody's happy. So The weirdest thing about traffic in New Zealand is, and I'll keep on saying that, is if you are in a where it's congested and nobody's going anywhere, nobody blows their hooter. It's very quiet. I mean, in South Africa,
it's not noisy. No one's. Yeah, I've seen a few guys. I don't know, showing some signs.
You sometimes get people a bit agitated, but on
don't
average,
even look at that.
No, on average, you don't get somebody hanging out with his fingers in the air. You don't get that. You don't get somebody. And a lot of places, the traffic must merge just to get into a single lane. And people would actually stop and let somebody else go in front of them. Not like in South Africa. South Africa, if I was in front, I stayed in front. So.
Okay, I think one other thing that we haven't talked about yet is the theatres in New Zealand. In South Africa, we used to go to the theatre quite a lot. We made a point of it to go and watch something at least every month, even if it was just at a restaurant theatre or a big theatre. We loved it. When we got to Tauranga, I wasn't sure if there was a theatre. I saw this. What's it? Bay?
Baywatch.
Or whatever, something Bay.
Baywatch.
And then I thought, I thought it was at the stadium. Sorry. And then we went for the first time just before COVID.
Yep.
And it wasn't there. It was actually in town. Lovely theatre, just like the Artscape used to be. You also can buy your wine or whatever, take it in with you. Beautiful theatre. The layouts, it was terrific. I haven't been to any theatres in Auckland yet. I'm sure it must be quite an experience. I haven't been there.
We've been to that one where the Afrikaans is groot or something like that.
Yes,
that was the show we actually went to watch here in Auckland, in Tauranga. It's all about women and hot flushes and called menopause.
Yeah, it was very good. It was really, really good. So yes, now that COVID, I don't know if we're allowed to go to the theatre.
We probably would be allowed to go to the theatre. I don't know if they're ready for us yet.
And it's not expensive. I think it was, how much did we pay? $55 or $60 a ticket. But it was a really good experience. I was so glad because we really loved the theatre. So now I
think it was jam-packed. I could not see one open seat.
Yes.
I think there could have been probably, I don't know. Was it 400 people?
I don't know how big it was, but it was full. Yeah.
It was not one open seat. It was quite astonishing. So
I'm sorry, I don't know.
You must not COVID me.
What else was there that you wanted to talk about?
You had a long list here.
You wanted to talk a little bit about buying a house. Yes.
We're now looking at buying a house, so we're going through all the motions of looking at open homes and trying to find the right house for her.
I think you must just say, Jan has only had his business for 1 year, and most loaning
most borrowing places once 2 years
of financials.
And financials. So we've been on Siegfried's neck the whole time saying, get our financials. And so we have our first year's financials. And that's what the bank is waiting for. We got that yesterday. So time today to call the bank and say we do have it now. Actually, Siegfried, he really pulled through and he did a wonderful job for us in the financials and bringing that all together for us in such a short period of time. I'm very glad about that. But then you go to the bank, you make your appointment, and I go see estate agents. Total different experience here. They look as if they're not really worried about you. Am I right?
No, what's nice for me, in South Africa, I didn't like to go to open houses because they kind of attack you when you get to the door, and they want all your information, and they walk behind you all the time, and they ask questions all the time. I really didn't like it.
Because they want to hound you, don't they?
Now, you go in, and they just say, okay, just browse around, have a look, and ask if you've got any questions. Most of the places you don't even have to write your details on. Some of them did ask for it, especially during COVID, but I think it was just for contact tracing.
Contact tracing thing,
So you just walk in, you walk around, have a look at your own base, and if you have questions, you can ask them. So it's really nice to go. It's a little bit of more freedom that you have when you go house hunting.
Also, something that I've found is we've got this major website called Trade Me, like you guys got Country. Trade Me is probably most of the houses in New Zealand somewhere along the line on Trade Me. And I sent quite a few emails to these people because you just click on Trade Me and you can send the email from there stating what you want and so on. Some of these guys take 4 or 5 days before they even get back to you. Some of them never even get back to you. I mean, they're trying to sell you a house. It costs a lot of money. I don't know if they have other buyers and the house has been sold. I don't really know what the reason is there. But if you feel just a bit detached, you feel like you're not that, how can I say, that important to the estate agent here.
Yeah, but it's actually good.
Yeah, it's probably good if you don't want
probably not if you really want a house.
But I mean, we've looked at a few houses and it takes them a week. To give you an idea, we were looking at a new development plot and plan, and I actually saw this development. I've never been there before. I didn't know about it at all. I saw it on one specific agency's website. I sent them an email. And then we started looking. We actually later drove to the estate that they are building there, walked through everybody, saw a few of the other agents that was on the premises, took photos of all the other guys selling sections down there, contacted them all. Most of them came back to us. It's about 1 or 2 that did not come back at all to us. Then eventually the first agent that I contacted about the estate, the first one that I saw it on, only then, it was about a week and a half that she only came back to us. Very
relaxed.
Yeah, relaxed. I can contact her if I need any more information. Doesn't really send me anything else. I mean,
I'm sure not all the estate agents are.
I hope not all of them are like that. So
I know one that's definitely not.
Yeah, I know one or two that's, but they're South African. That's a different. They're South African.
True,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this was anything else that you wanted to talk about.
I see somebody say it's sometimes best to form a relationship, or Vanita saying that. Yeah, that we tried with. There was only one little caravan on the spot there that it's actually weird. I'm not going to say who this is, but these people didn't even have a house plan available. And this was the first people we talked to, not the first ones we contacted. It was the first ones we talked to there.
That's not the caravan that she's talking about.
Yeah, but I know what she means. They had a little house there, small little, looks like a small container. And they were working from this as a estate agent there. First person, she stopped us. We talked to her. Until today, she could not even provide us any plan. She took us to one of the sections and explained to us where she will build what.
If you really want to have a look at houses, then you can pick an agent.
But as Vanita said, some of the areas like the one in Amakoroa where we were now, every company that's building there has built what they call a show house. And you could walk through them. They just have different times of opening, and most of them are only open over weekends and so on. I don't understand why. So you could really go around and see what's available for that sections and so forth. So that is their availability as well. But I mean, the other morning we walked through a show house. Nobody even asked who we were.
I don't think it was the estate agent. It was just the builders.
I don't know. That girl with the short dress looked like an estate agent to me. So, okay.
You take things way too seriously.
It's just me. I want to buy a house, man. Come on,
But
guys.
I think, like Vanita said, you have to build a relationship with one specific estate agent, and they can house hunt for you and just take you through the houses.
I'm always afraid that they'll try and
no, don't be afraid.
No, you'll stop them. Yeah. My wife has got very specific, very, very specific ideas in life. So.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I realized what you're talking about, the caravan. That's when all the bloody estate agents walk through the house.
Yes, not a caravan.
Not a caravan. we had a house, and the house we were renting, they were selling this house, and they sold it through different agencies. And then what they call the caravan will come through, and about 20 estate agents will walk through. They would range from extremely friendly people to extremely miserable people. So that was a new experience for us in New Zealand as well. All right, guys, because time has come and gone. It's Thursday morning here in New Zealand, and this morning I'm going a bit to Waihi side for the day to speak to a client there. I'll be back tonight. So you better get have the food ready when I come back. I'll be hungry. All right, this weekend we don't know what we're going to do this weekend. Actually, talked about doing a few things, but it's really the sun is up now.
No, the sun's not up.
It's light.
raining.
It's light outside, but it's extremely overcast. It's really dark.
We haven't had rain for a week, so
we actually need a lot of rain now.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be raining. We were just talking about this last night. We had some friends over. This time last year it was really raining, and this is an island, and we need the rain. I mean, the guys in Auckland, they need rain even more than us. So I'm not complaining about the rain. It's something that we really need. But this year it has been a bit scarce. But presumably, I just watched the weather for the weekend coming. It's going to be hectic rains out there and snow all over the high areas, which is also good. We're going skiing in August, or falling in August. Is that the right word?
We're not going to ski this year.
No,
Don't lie. We're just going with everyone.
Yeah.
But we struggled a lot last time, so I'm not even going to try
We
again.
didn't struggle a lot.
Call me a loser if you want.
We
I'm
didn't
not
get it
doing
right
it
at
again.
all.
So we'll just do something else. Drive around a little. Have
So
a look
this
at
year
the
I'll
area.
just take photos of the snow while I throw over snowballs.
Yes. Something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, it was a lovely morning to you all. Stay well and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.